history will tell all this in 100 years from now.
I find it just so fascinating that these guys still just have passion for music,
It keeps you young, man.
even at their age.
I mean, well, hey, dig it. I'm 45 years old, and I still think and act like I did when I was 15.
Right.
You know, I'm a little smarter, have a few more experiences under my belt, and some mistakes I've made along the way that I've learned from. But when it comes to picking up a guitar and playing in front of an amp, everybody's 16 years old. You know what I mean? And I mean, having spent a little bit of time with some of these guys, you know, you're forever young. Rock and roll keeps you forever young. Call it what you will, whatever permutation of rock and roll you want to call it, whatever era it's from, there's a youthful vibe that, you know, we're never going to get old if we keep playing the guitar. Look at Les Paul. What is he, 80 years old now?
83.
My man is still kicking it on Tuesday nights and still playing his ass off. I want to be like him. I think all the rest of those guys, you know, those are the people that they looked up to. Les Paul and you know, James Burton, Scotty Moore. You know, those are their heroes. You know what I mean?
Isn't it amazing how, you know, all of our heroes had heroes. I asked Les Paul the same question. I said, who was your hero? He goes, Django Reinhardt.
Django, man. Jeff Beck played me a Django Reinhardt, like, you know, rehearsal tape he got somewhere. And this was like in the 40s or something like that. And he was burning. And like his amp was a little distorted. And like back then they didn't want it to be distorted, but it was just like, but he was ripping, man. And it was in the stone room, so it had a little like ambient sound to it. Like that was just different than any records of that era. It was some of the most blazing playing I've ever heard. And Jeff goes like, that's the cat right there. And that, you know, and that guy still set the bar. I mean, who plays like Django Reinhardt? Where's that guy?
I always found it fascinating that there are guys like Lenny Breau,
Dig that.
who no one has ever really heard of, and yet I remember when I first came to Southern California, I went to this club. I can't remember what it was. Doesn't matter. But I look around the room and I saw you, and then I saw Larry Carlton, and I saw all these guys sitting around watching Lenny Breau play.
Unbelievable.
And he comes
I mean, all the harmonic stuff, you know, all that stuff.
all
It's just,
these guys sitting there just in awe of this great guitar player who never got any recognition. There's got to be guys out there like that. I remember his voice
Danny Gatton.
distinctly.
Look at Danny Gatton, man. I mean, you
I
know.
remember his voice. It was kind of like Peter Lorre.
Yeah. Yeah. I have the records. Scotty Page, you know Scotty, our buddy Scotty.
Yeah.
Lenny lived with him.
Really?
He took Lenny in because Lenny was like, you know, starving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's this genius that can't get paid.
Right.
Like, can't get a record deal. It's baffling, you know, but history will be much kinder when people look back and go, who was that guy? But, you know, when you find the unsung heroes, that all the guys that are making it know. It's like, oh, yeah, I heard that guy. He's been unbelievable. You forget about it. Roy Buchanan. I mean, you know, he didn't get any gold records, but he was look what an influence he had on, you know.
Your influence on guitar playing around the world is
Oh,
just amazing.
I'm a hack, man.
No, you're not. And let me just say this.
You know.
That's self-deprecating shit. This doesn't fly with me. You're my hero.
You're a sweetheart, man.
I'm just rolling. We got everything for the Yardbirds. I'm just rolling because I dig talking to them. You got 6
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, when I'm dead and gone, maybe you'll have a little extra footage, you know? Yeah, sell my shit on eBay, man. Show it to my grandkids, you know?
Here is something that I'm really curious about because, you know, you get kids come up to you from all over the world,
Yeah.
and they're doing the same thing to you that you felt about your heroes. How do you deal with them?
I always go, look, man, I'm still a humble student. You know, I still go back. I point at my masters, and I go, I'm still trying to get that. You know, I'm still trying to get that together. You know, I'm into bebop too. So I mean, that goes into a whole other level. That's you know, music is a great thing because you never wake up one day and go, hey, I know how to play the guitar now. I don't ever have to practice again. I don't ever have to. I know everything. as a musician, you never get to that point, which is great because you're always striving to learn more. There's always somebody who's going to be better than you. There's always somebody who's going to throw down a new way to play that you're going to be intrigued. Go, I'm going to clock that. I got to figure that out. I want to see how that guy does that, you know. And I hope it always stays that way. And I'm not talking about popular music, top 40 music, or even stuff that sells millions of copies. I'm talking about guys that set a new standard, create a new vocabulary. And that's when we go back to the Yardbirds and the guitar players that have been through that band. Those cats are still setting, you know, Jeff Beck is still setting the bar. I mean, you know, Eric and Jimmy, I mean, their work speaks for itself, you know. I mean,
What did you think of the new Jeff Beck track on the Yardbirds album?
I thought it was, you know, first off, I was honored that, you know, to be on the same record with Jeff, you know. And that just lent so much credibility to the project that Jeff would come back and play, you know, play his demented version of the blues, which nobody plays like him, with a slide and just ripping, and just that sound that it's in here. It's like you can't play his guitar and sound. I played his guitar. I still sound like me playing. It's not gonna make me play like Jeff Beck. I mean, it's him. You know, he's God's guitar player. You know, I mean, he just had, you know, it just lent credibility to the whole project. And I think having him aboard like that really got all of us guys, you know, all the rest of the players on the record excited about going, well, if Jeff's going to do it, shit, it's going to be the real deal.
Where does tone come from?
It is an extension of your soul. I mean, it's not just about learning how to play the guitar. I mean, everybody's touch. If you put 100 guitar players in a room and hear on the same guitar and same amp, you're going to hear 100 different sounds come out of that exact same. That's the human. It's your soul. It's your hands, your heart, your brain. It's something that you can't even can't describe.
Jim Capaldi called me one day and said, hey, I need to borrow an Eric Clapton guitar. Could you bring it down to this video we're doing? I said, yeah, sure. I'm closing up late. I'll bring it down. I walk in, hey, Jim, how you doing? He says, oh, it's for George. I look over, there's George Harrison. He says, oh, you're the guy with the guitar. Bring him the guitar. Picks it up. It's Eric's guitar. I said, yeah, it's an Eric Clapton model. It's a black guitar with a white pickguard with this pickup configuration. It was signed by him on the headstock. He goes, thanks a lot. Picks the guitar up, walks over to this rig, plugs it in, starts playing, you know, cream tunes and blah, 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 and just all kinds of Clapton things. And he's sitting there shaking his head, and he calls me over. And he goes, this is Eric Clapton's guitar. I go, yeah, this is Eric Clapton's guitar. He says, this is so fine. This is his rig here. Got his rig, I got his guitar, and it don't sound like Eric Clapton.
He didn't actually say that. No, come on.
And I said, well, you're not Eric Clapton. And that's when I realized that even he didn't understand that tone comes from the hand.
Well, look at the way George played slide. I mean, his touch. I mean, you know, you think everybody takes their own touch, you know, for granted. I mean, I knew George. George was a bud, man. Like, you know, he's the reason why I play the guitar. And couldn't be a nicer guy on the planet. And yeah, I mean, he doesn't realize that how many millions of people play the guitar because of him.
Because of him.
Because of him.
You know, and that's
The
what
solo when I saw her standing there is the reason why I play the guitar. Something went like click, I want to be that guy. That was the first time an electric guitar went inside of me and said, and just something happened. You know? Doesn't get any better than that. I mean, that's, if music can do that for you, then somebody's really done something great. And the musician or the musicians, you know, did what they were supposed to do.
Cool, that's perfect.
played it with that.
I like that.
Isn't that amazing though?
I like that.
Even he, I mean, I think he would know better.